This is Intersection. I'm Matthew Petty. That's the sound of James Brown with a track called Papa Don't Take No Mess. It's one of Ed Smith's favourite tunes. Ed Smith's record store, Re-Runz Records, opened last summer on West Church Street. There are bins full of James Brown 45s and hundreds of other records, including funk, soul, R&B, jazz and other genres. There are also records on the walls and concert posters, the Jackson 5, T-Bone Walker, Fats Domino, Run DMC. There's also a sign advertising Smith's own group, the After Hour Band, which rehearses at the store on weekends. It's right opposite the new soccer stadium which is going up, which is why you'll hear a little bit of construction noise in the background. Now, this store opened last August, but you did have a record store in a previous location, right, Ed?
Yes, I sure did. From about 1990 to 2000, I opened up a location in the Pine Hills area, hoping to service that those customers over there who, was looking for music. Of course, at that time, I was mainly selling CDs up front, and in the back, I did mail order, all over the world. I did close the store due to the fact that Circuit City moved in the area, Best Buy moved in the area, and of course I couldn't compete with those big conglomerates, selling CDs. Of course, they can buy a CD for what I can sell it for, so I thought it was in my best interest, to close shop at that time and to continue to sell at record shows and online and through other platforms.
Why did you decide it was a good time to get back into the business of having a brick-and-mortar store?
Well, I've been thinking about it for quite some time. As a matter of fact, for the last 5 years, I've been thinking about it. And, of course, I always said if I get a good location, if the timing is right, of course, I would, indulge back into the business. And, of course, the way I see it now, vinyl is on the rise. I had a large inventory of vinyl and other music memorabilia, so I decided to, why not get back into the business and maybe make somebody else's life happy, coming up with music that they was longing to have in their collection.
Tell me about the records you have here.
I mainly specialize in R&B, soul, funk, gospel, jazz, hip-hop, blues. That's my niche.
That's a pretty broad niche.
Oh, yeah. But, of course, you got others such as rock, metal, punk, reggae, and other genres. But, of course, I do sell some of that. But I figure I'd mainly stick with those genres that I just indicated.
And I see just behind you, you've got Blue Oyster Cult, you've got some Deep Purple, Bruce Springsteen, so you do sell some of the classic rock as well.
Of course. How are you going to have a store and not sell other genres?
Why did you decide this was the place for the store? Why is this a good location for you?
You can't beat what's happening in Orlando right now. With the evidence of, you got the Amway down the street. Of course, the Orlando Magic is finna build a multi-million-dollar entertainment complex 4 blocks from here. You got the soccer stadium across the street. You got, of course, the Camping World Center stadium down the street. This area is exploding, and I found this building. It was vacant. And, of course, I said, hey, I didn't waste no time jumping right on it. I thought this was a good location.
Are you a Paramore resident yourself?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Daytona Beach. Of course, my father's from Eatonville, which is right down the street. My mother's from Daytona Beach. She got a scholarship to Bethune-Cookman at Daytona Beach. That's how they met. But I've been here in Orlando now since 1987. And I, of course, transferred here from Tampa at that time. I was a probation parole officer for 30-something years. And, of course, at that time I wanted to come closer, to Daytona Beach just in case, that I needed to get home to assist my family, aging family.
Now, I was talking to one of the workers outside, and he was asking about the store and asking whether it was a recording studio. Do you get a lot of people just wondering what your store is? Do they know about it before they come in?
You know what? You just get passers-by. A lot of these guys that walk by here, they're into the rap game, that type of thing. And, of course, the first thing they think about music, they're always thinking about studio. So, of course, I get quite a inquiries as to whether or not I provide that kind of service.
Do you think there's a market for that? Would that be something you'd consider opening up a studio?
Well, that's something really to take a look at. There's a need, and anytime there's a need, somebody need to address it, and maybe that might be something I may look at into in the future, but not right now. My goal right now is to grow this business that I have.
Has music always been a part of your life, Ed Smith?
Yes, it has. I have been collecting seriously since 1974. I've been dealing in collectible vinyl since 1985, of course, before the internet. And we did have means of selling all over the world before the internet, and of course, that's just been my life ever since then.
What kind of music were you listening to growing up? Like, what got you into music?
Well, I've been a musician all my life. At age 15, I went on the road, played the chitlin circuit with a 16-piece band. I've never left playing music, even though I had a professional career. At night, I was a musician. During the day, I had a professional career as a probation officer, which don't even go together. And of course, everybody in my family, are musicians. My grandfather was a jazz drummer, played with some of the big greats, Chick Webb and some of the others. My uncle was a trumpet player. He played with B.B. King. My brother was an entertainer. Of course, he cut, along with myself, several 45s back in the day. In 1976, we had a regional hit called Space Cowboy. So basically, just music has always been a part of my life, and I've always been around it.
What is the chitlin circuit?
Chitlin circuit is an old term for, back during the day when you're talking about, doing segregation. Of course, the black artists could only play in certain areas. And, of course, these certain areas had bars and clubs and stuff that basically catered to African Americans. And some of those same places that I played, some of the professional entertainers played at these same places. So basically it's just a juke joint type of places. But not all was juke joints, but some was fairly decent venues as well.
Now, you are a guitarist, is that right?
Yes, I play guitar, and of course I play other instruments, but guitar is my main instrument as well as I sing. And
tell me about the band you're in at the moment.
Well, the band I have now is called the After Hour Band. Of course, I'm I am the founder of the band. It's a 6-piece band. We play smooth R&B, classic soul, funk, and Motown. I felt that there was a need in this town, for such a group. And of course, I got some established musicians, and we put this band together. We have a full rhythm section, a lead guitar, a rhythm guitar, bass guitar, keyboard, and female vocalists.
Where do you play and how often?
Well, right now we have taken a break. As a matter of fact, the last time we haven't played in about 5 months, and the reason for that is because I was engaging, in this business, trying to get it together, and they understood, and they was willing to let me go ahead and fulfill this dream and get this together. And then once I get this together, we come back together, and we are back rehearsing, and expect to be out playing pretty soon. But prior to stop playing, the last places we played was Dexter's Restaurant in Winter Park.
So tell me about the Motown, funk, and smooth R&B scene here in Orlando. Is it in good shape?
You know what? There are very few soul funk bands in Orlando. Like I said, that's something that is needed. Of course, when you play one genre, you kind of hurt yourself. Most of the bands that are around that do play soul funk type stuff, they also play other genres such as, some metal, some classic rock and stuff like that. But I always said that if you hire the After Hour Band, when we say soul funk, that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get rock, metal, country, or nothing else. You're going to get soul, and that's what we do best.
Have your bandmates, what have they been doing in the last 5 months? Are they're eager to get back into it, and you guys are rehearsing it, but have they been busy?
Well, they've been bugging me to death about getting back together. But that's one thing I can say about the guys that I do have. They're pretty dedicated. It's not all about the money. It's about enjoyment, staying up on their axes. And that makes it very easy, when you're not money hungry. And these guys are not money hungry. And they're willing to put in the sacrifice, to whatever it takes to make this band a success. And I'm glad to have them to stick around like they do. So that tells you what quality of musicians that I have playing with.
So you're at the point now, though, that things are going pretty well with the store. You've got a good customer base, and you can take some time out of that to rehearse and perform with your band.
Yeah, what we do, we rehearse. We usually rehearse on the weekends. We usually rehearse on a Sunday or either Monday evening. And, of course, that doesn't take away from, me operating the shop, nor the guys. Some of them do have full-time jobs. And, of course, on the weekend, they're usually free. So that's not a problem. But in terms of my customers, I have developed a pretty good customer base. And it's growing every day. And I do expect things to get better, as time progresses. And it has. It's getting better and better every day.
Who are your customers? You would have some who'd carried over from your old store, I imagine, but do you get a lot of new clientele walking through these doors?
Oh, I would say about 60% are new. And believe it or not, millenniums. But for some particular reason, they are up on the vinyl thing. I guess the nostalgia of it. And, of course, it's something new to them. It's something that they haven't experienced. And I'm finding more and more of the millenniums, coming in to buy vinyl. And especially the funk and soul stuff for some particular reason. As a matter of fact, about 2 months ago, I remember a gentleman came into the store with his son. His son was 14 years old. And I guess his son, Googled me or something, said, hey, there's a new store that I got to check out. So his dad brought him over. I couldn't believe this guy, 14 years old. He was in here buying jazz, progressive jazz. So that tells you right there what the millenniums are into and why they probably choose to pursue vinyl instead of the CDs. Of course, when I talk to them, I ask them just to see their curiosity as to why they buy vinyl. Of course, they say the same thing everybody else says, and I agree with them. Vinyl sounds better. And, of course, that's an analog versus digital, which is, your CD is a digital. And the artwork, you can't beat it. The liner notes is just something that you can hold, that you can feel, and that you can put away and maybe have some value. It's an investment. And when they come in here, and that's how I try to, talk to them, look at buying not only for enjoyment, but as an investment.
For a jazz lover like yourself, it must give you a good feeling to see a 14-year-old buying some jazz records.
Of course. It just blew me away. It just blew me away. I couldn't believe it. And he was very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. The first thing I thought, maybe he was a musician in school. He was learning how to play an instrument, but that was not the case. He just fell in love with jazz.
Ed Smith, what are your most popular records in here?
Well, I had a record. The highest record I had in here was Prince. And it was the Purple Rain album. Of course, it had the original poster in it. It still had the rap on it, the hype sticker, and it was a blue vinyl. I had it here for $3.75. Somebody from Japan came through and grabbed it off the wall as fast. Didn't ask any questions about it. And then the other record I had in here, which is amazing, was an album by an artist named Bobby Williams. Bobby Williams is a very unknown artist. He lived here in Orlando for quite some time. I would say for about 40 years. He was from Mississippi. And as a matter of fact, I had the opportunity to play with him for a short period of time. But he recorded several albums. But one of the albums that I had in here was Funky Superfly. And it's the most wanted album all over the world. I had a test press, and I had it in here for about $400. Of course, again, some guy from overseas came in and bought it because he knew what it was. Stuff like that, I try to keep on the wall.
Do you still have some Bobby Williams albums in your store?
No, I sure don't. It's hard to get. By him being here in Orlando for so long playing, you would think that you would find his albums all day, but that's not the case because I've been all over Orlando trying to find his material, but you just can't find it.
So what are your favorite albums. What stuff do you like to put on the turntable when you're in here?
Well, a group by the name of Funk Incorporated out of New York. That's one of my favorite. That's acid jazz. If you like jazz, you got it. If you like funk, it's there. And it has that old-fashioned jazzy funk type of syncopated type beat. I know back in the 70s, that was a big thing, funk jazz. As a matter of fact, now that I remember back in school, even when I was in high school, when you went to proms and stuff like that, and you had live entertainment, it was funk jazz. You know, it's all about that B3 organ. That's what it is, the B3 organ.
Listening to Funk Incorporated with a track called Chicken Lickin', released in 1972. And you can find our interview with Ed Smith of Re-Runz Records at our website, WMFE.org. Support for Intersection comes from Florida Hospital and from our listeners. Intersection's producer is Brendan Byrne. The executive producer is Catherine Welch. Our intern is Talia Blake. Abe Abaraya answered the phones. Technical direction from Nicole Darden-Creston. If you missed an episode, subscribe to our podcast or go to our website, wmfe.org/intersection. I'm Matthew Petty. Thanks for listening.